Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we're back. If you haven't had an opportunity to watch Game of Thrones tonight, stop listening now. Major spoilers, here we go. We're talking about Season 4's episode number 3, Breaker of Chains. Tonight's episode, just to kind of give you a little bit of information about tonight's episode, here it is right here, man. Tyrion considers his options. Tywin extends an olive branch. Sam questions the safety of Castle Black. Jon proposes a plan. The Hound teaches Arya. Dany chooses her champion, okay? Tonight's episode was amazing. If you're a Game of Thrones fan, you're really going to be excited, and you understand that from here on out, it's just so much action. That's what we're in for. Let's start the episode out. The episode picks off right where the Lion and the Rose ends, okay? And that's with the death of King Joffrey. We see that Tyrion is now inside of the prison because, you know, he's been blamed for Joffrey's death by Cersei. Cersei yelling out, you know, take him, he did it, he killed Joffrey. And we see that Lady Sansa is heading towards safety, okay? She's being led by Dantos Hollard, and that is the, I guess you can say, peasant dude, if you will. He was just a drunken dude that King Joffrey pretty much just humiliated any chance that he had. And he leads Lady Sansa into a boat, a little fishing boat, I guess you can say. And they start, you know, paddling out into the open sea. All of a sudden, the fog starts coming in, and then you see a big, humongous boat. And then the little tiny boat pulls up, and then Lady Sansa's like, well, what do you want me to do with this? Where do you want me to go? And then he's like, Lady Sansa, believe in yourself. You have more power than you think. And then she starts climbing up. She's like, I got it. And then she gets to the top, and all of a sudden, man, somebody grabs her. And immediately, man, my heart is beginning to race, man. I'm about to throw up in my mouth because I don't know what's going to happen to one of my favorite characters. Well, it turns out, man, that this is Lord Baelish, okay? Yeah, Littlefinger, all right? Peter Baelish, yes. He's on the boat. Apparently, he planned all of this out. Now, I don't know if we should go as far as saying that he planned out the murder of King Joffrey, or maybe he planned out as far as when he heard of the news of King Joffrey's death that he hired Dantos to go and fetch Lady Sansa, because we know that, you know, Lord Baelish has this, I don't know, I guess you can call it a fetish for Lady Sansa, okay? And it's not appreciated for people that are fans of Lady Sansa, but at least she's safe, okay? Now check this out. This is how sick and twisted Lord Baelish is. Dantos had this necklace, okay? And this necklace had a story behind it. And to make a long story short, his grandmother passed it down to his mother, and this was the last piece of connection that he had with his mother, was this necklace. But the necklace was made up by Lord Baelish. It doesn't exist. It was a fake piece of jewelry, and obviously, I guess because of Dantos being drunk all the time, he wouldn't be able to pick up on this. And yeah, wrap your head around that for a second. But it's kind of sickening, because Lord Baelish smashes the necklace after he, you know, betrays Dantos. Dantos is like, how much did Lord Baelish asks Dantos, he says, how much did I promise you? And he was like, 10,000 whatever, okay? And all of a sudden he's like, oh, well, let me give you your money. And he clips his fingers like that. He snaps his fingers. Okay, and then all of a sudden you see these guys with their arrows, these archers, they put their arrows over the side of the boat, and they shoot down. One of the arrows hits Dantos in the face, like right in the cheekbone, right to the back of his skull. Another one hits him in his left side or right side of his, below his chest plate into his ribs, like snaps his ribs, and then he dies. He's laying on the boat that carried Lady Sansa to safety, and the reasoning behind that, Lord Baelish said that if I was able, pretty much just to sum it up, I mean, make the long story short, if I was able to pay him this small amount of money, any amount of money would make him talk, okay? So a person that doesn't have, I guess, a conscience or whatever, and would betray anybody or do anything for money, can't be trusted. And then after that, he also, which was, I think, was just really brilliant as far as for the writing team, he said, Lady Sansa, what did I tell you about what did I tell you about the people here inside of our lands? And he said, and then Lady Sansa replies, we're all liars. You know, and you guys kind of remember that when you go back and you watch Game of Thrones, man. Well, you should remember that because we just finished the marathon. So, yeah. And I was just like, wow, this is crazy. You know what? This is the best episode of the season. All right. So that's how I was right there. I was just like, wow, that's crazy because everything came full circle. Okay. All right. Let me just kind of calm down. All right. We're going to move all the way to the end of the episode. Okay. And the end of the episode was probably about a 7 to 8, maybe 9-minute little scene, man, where we got to see the mother of dragons minus her dragons. Apparently maybe her dragons were out hunting, or I don't know where they were. Maybe they were in cages or something. I don't believe that. I think they were just gone because you can't control them. So they're probably out there burning the land and hunting and gathering, etc. So we see Khaleesi. She's in front of this this new land, and she wants to take the prisoners or the slaves that are inside of the land and free them, and obviously, you know, have them join her forces and build her army even more. I mean, it looks like she has probably, I'm just going to guess, I'm going to say probably like 50,000 men right now. Okay, and it's crazy. They actually showed it. They backed it up a little bit, and they showed them inside of their ranks in the little small, you know, militaristic type squares, man, inside of their little platoons or whatever you want to call them, squadrons, whatever. And it was just massive. You know, you're sitting there thinking like, yo, how do I enlist? Let me serve Khaleesi, okay? And here's what I mean by that. There's this moment, okay, where the people that Khaleesi, I guess, is quote-unquote threatening, the leaders of that land, they send out their strongest warrior, okay? And this warrior pretty much has a pissing contest. And literally, there's a pissing contest. And... And all of a sudden, man, everybody that's on Khaleesi's side, all the men that pretty much just worship her feet and the ground that she walks on, they're like, Khaleesi, please, let me fight for you, you know, let me do this. And they start kind of, you know, pretty much just throwing out their credentials, you know, well, I'm the oldest serving member on your ranks, and I have the most history and historic, battles on my roster or whatever. And then she's just like, you know, no, I need you. So check this out. Here's how the Game of Thrones writers and the producers and everybody, we know that they recast that one dude who was, I guess you can say, like, romantically involved with Khaleesi, okay? And in order to kind of justify him every single episode so far, and I think after this episode tonight, they don't have to do that anymore, but they made him stand tall and pretty much defend, okay, why did we recast you? Why was it necessary to take that one guy who cut off the heads of those two guys and then we replace it with this dude with this beard? What's the reasoning behind that? Well, tonight they pretty much just showed you, okay? So the slave guys, I guess, how are you going to say it? The guys that, the leaders of the land that Khaleesi's trying to capture, they sent out their warrior. Their warrior's on a horse. Well, the dude with the beard that has now been replaced or recast and is now inside of Khaleesi's ranks, and that pretty much is a young guy that Khaleesi pretty much, I think, is fond of also. He says, okay, Khaleesi, I'll fight for you. And then he was like, and the reason behind, he's like, I don't have any, you know, my resume's short. You know, there's no reason why, you know, you need to spare me or whatever. You know, you can let me go and fight for you. And if I die, there's nothing you'll be missing, okay? So he stands there in the middle of the path of this rushing horse. And there's a warrior on this horse that's like, yeah, you know, and they start running towards, or, you know, stampeding towards this dude, and he's just standing his ground. He pulls out a dagger. Khaleesi, you know what I'm saying, she's like, whoa, this is kind of crazy. Because she's like, listen, this warrior has a horse. You're standing on your feet. And then the dude replies, he's like, horses are dumber than humans. And then Khaleesi kind of smiles, and then he turns around and he winks at Khaleesi as this horse is coming towards him, pulls out this dagger, tosses this dagger through the eye of the horse. I'm dead serious when I say this. Like, the horse is going at full speed, which is probably, let's go like, I don't know, 30 to 40 miles per hour, something like that. The horse is booking. With precision, he throws the dagger through the eye of the horse. the horse flips over, the warrior that's on the horse gets thrown off, there's all this dust, and it was just beautiful. I'm gonna be real with you. It looked like something out of like some kind of science fiction movie. It was brilliant. And all of a sudden, man, the guy, the warrior, he's on the floor, he's like, ugh, you know, and he tries to defend himself, he pulls out a sword or whatever, but it's too late. Okay, the dude with the beard that was recast on Khaleesi's team slices his head off. And I'll find out his name next week because, I mean, I think for me, he kind of earned his spot tonight. I'm not going to lie about that. I forgot his name, but obviously he's the same dude as the last dude that didn't have a beard, that was clean shaven, had long, you know, flowing hair, and cut the heads off the other two guys to present them to Khaleesi and say, you know, I love you or whatever. Well, he earned his spot tonight, okay? And then they cut it off. They cut off his head. Khaleesi, after that, gives this amazing speech where, I mean, pretty much I wish that I could have, you know, jumped through the TV and ran out and said, yeah, Khaleesi, I'm joining your ranks, because it was like this freedom. It was like, I can't even explain it. It was so awesome. And she was speaking in native tongue. That's what's so crazy about Khaleesi, man. Like, she's the mother of dragons. We understand that. But her character is just so powerful, man. Like, I think anybody would follow her to the ends of earth, to death and back, okay? Let's just be real about that. Instead of attacking this land that she wants for the people, she catapults these barrels into the city. And at first I was like, okay, well, she's just, you know, using the catapults, launching those to give the people weapons to free them. Well, that wasn't it. It was crazy, but she launched in the shackles. So whenever the barrels exploded on the walls, they hit the walls, they broke into pieces, there were shackles, and the slaves would pick up the shackles, and they would see that the shackles are broken, which represents freedom, which represents no more, you know, being held down by your master or whatever, and you can now be free. You can be your own person. It was just crazy. And you get to see that, you know, next week's episode is all about that, man. They're breaking the shackles off of people, and it just looks beautiful, man. And the music was crazy. I don't know what the song was called, but I gotta download that. I'm gonna be looking forward tonight or tomorrow whenever it gets on Amazon.com for their MP3s. It was beautiful. It was beautiful. I'm not gonna lie. It was a little bit of tears up in there. I'm not gonna lie about that. Let's go ahead and be real, because it's just awesome, man. Game of Thrones, man. This is one series that you don't want to miss, man. You don't want to miss at all, man. Okay, it's about 12 minutes, man. I think I'm gonna stop here and then upload, and after that we'll come back and we'll talk about the episode again. So if you want to listen to part 2, it's going to be real fast, probably about 5 or 6 minutes, just kind of wrapping everything up about the episode. But just to kind of sum things up from what I just talked about, Lady Sansa is safe. She's with Lord Baelish. Khaleesi, the mother of dragons, is freeing more people, and she gave this amazing speech about freedom, and next week looks just insane, man. As far as any other characters, man, I'll talk about them in the next podcast, man. Once again, guys, if you don't have HBO, if you don't have Showtime for that matter, if you don't have, you know, some type of way to watch these episodes, man, you gotta check them out. I mean, seriously, make that happen. Either Amazon, Hulu, Netflix, there's gotta be a way that you can, you know, wrap yourself around these shows, man. They're really, really good, man. With that, guys, I thank you again for tuning in. What do you think about tonight's episode? Do you agree with the death of King Joffrey? Do you agree with how Lord Baelish handled Lady Sansa? I mean, do you agree with Lord Baelish how he handled Dantos? Man, let's be real about that. I think the little dude should have survived, and you don't really kill a drunk dude, but I guess you probably do. I don't know in these circumstances. And are you excited for next week, man? We're out of here, guys. Thanks again for listening. That's way, way over time, man. But yeah. Every single week, man, we'll have a Game of Thrones episode and podcast uploaded, man. Right here.